Hello, and welcome to my review of The Northman. This is the brand new medieval revenge tale by Robert Eggers. I think the movie is pretty good. Just to sum up my general thoughts on the movie, I think it's pretty good. I think Robert Eggers is one of the most interesting, one of the most creative filmmakers working right now. There's just something about his brain that's just absolutely incredible to me. I think his movies are so interesting, and once you start to break them down, they really are impressive. I'm gonna need a few more watches to fully understand this movie, and that is something that right now drags it down. Is that it is on the first viewing, it's a bit too abstract to understand and to fully comprehend and to fully love. But the craft that goes into this movie is absolutely incredible. There are some amazing performances in this movie. I think Anya Taylor Joy is incredible. I think Alexander Skarsgård is absolutely phenomenal. There is also someone like Nicole Kidman, who normally I really, really love. I think actually she should have won Best Actress for being the Ricardos. I know that's controversial, but I think she should have. I think she's an incredible actress. But in this movie, I think she drags it down quite a bit. I don't like her performance. I don't think it's very believable in any way. I also think that I've seen quite a few movies lately where I thought that the story was great, but structurally it was very generic. This was the exact opposite. I think the structure, which is something you would expect from Robert Eggers, is very interesting and different and compelling. But the actual story that takes place in the movie is actually quite generic and something that you've seen before in pretty much every other medieval revenge tale. Um, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this movie is extremely interesting and very, very fun to watch. Visually, it is. I mean, it's a visual marvel. It is absolutely incredible, and that is both with the landscapes and the actual special effects. The movie just looks amazing, and I think that just comes with Robert Eggers. He just is absolutely incredible. Now, there are undoubtedly going to be a lot of comparisons to The Green Knight that came out last year. I did not like The Green Knight, but this is not a Green Knight review, so I'm not going to go into depth with why. But I will say that this is The Green Knight done right, in my opinion. Because whereas The Green Knight I felt like was a story that took way too many detours and with a completely unsatisfying climax, this is not straightforward, but you can feel the through line all throughout the movie. And I think where it ends, I thought I was going to be disappointed because there's a scene or a sequence right before the actual climax of the movie that I felt like was very disappointing and pretty weird and that didn't really fit in. But it actually managed to set up the actual climax pretty well, and the actual climax is incredible. The final showdown in this movie between Claes Bang's character and Alexander Skarsgård is absolutely phenomenal. And in that sense, I think this movie works a lot better than The Green Knight did. I feel like this movie is much more accessible than The Green Knight. Now, an issue I had, I don't think the movie is too long. I think you could have spent the time differently. I think the movie, the movie has an issue with the opening act. I think it is a bit rushed. It feels like, if you've seen the trailer, this isn't a spoiler unless you've seen the trailer, right? I think it feels like it's trying to set up the main character pretty quickly and then have the father die, as you see in the trailer. And I feel like they could have spent a bit more time with that opening. Then again, the opening is actually also what works the least for me because, as I said, I don't think Nicole Kidman does a good job, and she's very prominent in the opening. Also, I think the kid, I don't know his name, but I think the kid in the opening he's not bad. It's not that at all. He's not bad, but he's not as competent as the rest of the cast. So I'm pretty conflicted with did I want more? Because I wanted more setup and I wanted it to not feel as rushed. But I also would much rather want to spend time with Alexander Skarsgård and Anya Taylor-Joy than with the actors in the opening. But in the end, it's a very interesting movie. It is a very compelling movie. It's a very complex movie. It's a very abstract movie, of course. It's Robert Eggers. But it's also a movie that lacks a little bit in the opening, that has a pretty bad performance from Nicole Kidman, and that story-wise is pretty generic. But I did have a lot of fun with this, and I think it's only going to get better the more I see it. Right now, I'm at a 73%, and it is one of the best movies I've seen so far this year. Now, if you liked what you saw here, this is what I want to do on this channel. I want to see as many movies as I can, and I want to bring the reviews to you guys. If you want to be a part of that, please consider clicking that subscribe button.